Hello, hello, hello. My name is Pearl. I'm studying the Master's in Gender Development and Globalization here at the London School of Economics. And today I want to talk a little bit about finding housing and where I live in London. So to start off with, I wanted to talk about kind of how I chose to live in student accommodation. The student accommodation I chose, I live in Lilian Knowles, and the pros and cons of living in student accommodation based on my experience. And then I also will give a quick tour of my flat, just so that you all can see what it looks like, because I know, seeing that was so helpful for me. So first, why I chose to live in student accommodation instead of private accommodation. So for me, coming from the US, I didn't really know anybody in London. I had talked to one student who was at LSE, who was living in private accommodation, about her experience, but I didn't know a ton about the London housing market, other than that, you really need to see things before you, say that you'll live there. And that stuff moves really fast. And so for me coming in, I, was like, there's going to be so much going on with adjusting to a new country, starting classes, meeting people, all of that, that I don't want looking for housing to be a big part of my first few weeks, especially because I personally wasn't able to come a few weeks early. And I also didn't want to risk agreeing to live somewhere and then getting there and not having it be what I wanted. Now, having said that, it is really important to note that a ton of my friends live in private accommodation and really love it. But, just in terms of thinking about stuff coming in, I think there was a lot that I was kind of preparing myself to be unknown, and having a place where I knew I would be living, and I knew that, everything would be exactly as it said it would be, was something that I really did want. And so that really led me to choose student accommodation, especially because I could sign up for student accommodation so much earlier than private housing. Private housing I would have done probably right before coming, if not when I got here, just because the market moves quickly. Whereas with student accommodation, I think I knew in May that I was going to be in Lilian Knowles, and that was kind of set, which was really nice going into the summer and getting ready to come to London for the fall. About Lilian Knowles specifically, so the setup of the building is it's all LSE postgrad students, which has been really great because I have a number of friends who live here, and so you always have somebody to walk to class with or have dinner with, and it's in flats of 6 people. So in my flat of 6 people, I have my own room and my own bathroom, which was a big thing for me personally. And then I share a kitchen with my 5 flatmates, all of whom are great and who are all, as I said, LSE students. It's really cool because they're all studying different things. So we all kind of have a similar experience being at LSE, but are able to get home and chat about differences in our experiences and in classes. They're also from all over the world, which is really cool because we also come from different backgrounds. And walking in for dinner, everybody's making different stuff, which is always fun and exciting to see what people are cooking. So that's my flat. There's, I think, 300 people who live in the building. There is a living room that's shared, and then there's with TVs and a ping pong table and stuff like that, and then there's a laundry room and a computer room that is shared by the entire building, but then your flat is just your kitchen, and there's usually a dining table in the kitchen as well. One thing to note about Lilian Knowles is I'll show you my flat, but the flats are different sizes and the bedrooms are a little bit different sizes, and you don't know what size you're going to get before you move in. So I have a really nice kitchen. I really love it. It's pretty big. It's got nice windows. I have friends who have, a kitchen with a skyline view because they're on the 4th floor. I also have friends whose kitchens are really, really small. Their bedrooms might be a little bit bigger, so it does balance out, but we weren't really able to choose that. And so that is a little bit of an unknown. If you are living in Lilian Knowles, obviously it'll be similar to what I show you, but don't assume that this is exactly what your room or flat will look like, because it might not look exactly like that. For pros of living in Lillian Knowles, it's in a really awesome part of London. It's in Shoreditch, between Shoreditch and Whitechapel. It's right across from Old Spitalfields Market and super close to a bunch of tube lines, bus stops, all of that. So it's really easy to kind of get anywhere you want to in London. We're only 2 miles, I don't know kilometers, I'm so sorry. We're only 2 miles from campus. So, I mean, I guess that's probably about 3 kilometers if I were to hazard a guess. Not totally sure though. And so that's like a 45-minute walk or 20 minutes on the tube or on the bus. And it's really cool because you go through the financial district and you walk by St. Paul's Cathedral and you get to campus. So it's a really nice walk or bus ride if that's what you choose to do. It also is a really nice area because there's a ton of restaurants. And just like things to do. There's a flower market that I go to every Sunday that's like a 10-minute walk away. And so it's nice to be in central London and to, you know, especially moving in, always have stuff going on. And I have a lot of friends, both in the building, but also friends who live in East London, Shoreditch, Dalston area, whether that's in student accommodation or private accommodation. So it's nice to kind of always have somebody nearby as well. And for cons, like I said, my flat is kind of the dining room / kitchen, and then my room and bathroom. And so while there is a TV room that the entire building shares, there's not really a living room space here. And so when I'm doing work, I either am doing it at the dining room in the kitchen, which, you know, other people might be using the kitchen for stuff, or I'm doing it in my room. And so I spend a lot of time doing work, getting together with people, other places, just because unless we're getting together to like sit and eat dinner, and there's only a couple of us, there's not that much space to hang out necessarily. And so that is something where comparing it to some of my friends who live in private accommodation who have, you know, a couch and that kind of stuff, it is a different experience. But at the same time, I do think if I were to do it all over again, given the same conditions, I think I would choose to live in Lillian Knowles again. So, all that being said, let's get into the tour. All right, so when you enter my bedroom, this is what you see. I am on the ground floor, so out my window is the road, but I have a nice little mirror, radiator, my bed. This cabinet I brought with me and I thought it would fit in my closet, and it didn't because I made a mistake. And then you have a really awesome, like massive desk that's got space on the top for all of the stuff that I have over there, or, you know, photos, that kind of stuff. Then as you come around, I have my bathroom. So it's just shower, toilet, sink, kind of your everyday bathroom stuff. And then I have the closet. I will say one thing about the closet is there's this shelf at the top, which is helpful and kind of a mess, apologies. And then there's a rack to hang things, an area down at the bottom for shoes, but there's no real shelves or drawers other than the desk drawers. So that was something that I didn't really expect and had to kind of deal with. But yeah, and then I have my view, my nice big window, and that's my room. And then if we leave my room, go across, this is the flat. Very exciting. We have the kitchen, and so as I said, there's 6 of us. We each have our own little cabinet, and then we have 2 ovens, 2 stoves, 2 fridges, a nice big dining room table, and windows that look out into the middle of the building, microwave, all of that. This is my cabinet, so it's got tons of space, and then there's tons of like space down below to store things as well. So that's my flat. Please let me know if you have any questions about housing, how I chose housing, you know, why I chose it, what I think about it. Anything that I didn't cover in this video, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask. There's also a ton of great resources online. I know there are other videos on the LSE channel that show accommodation or talk about private housing, so definitely check those out if you have more questions. And as always, thank you so much for watching and have a great day.